God wants to hone your purpose, not your skill. Give your creativity back to God. Give your creative block to God. Give your writer's block to God. Give your creative frustration back to God. Give your dream that you're so frustrated with that you don't believe in anymore. Give that to God. Give the brokenness to God. God wants to restore you. It's time. It's time to make your dreams come true. Even if you walked away from a dream and it was 5 years since you've engaged in that activity, go back to it. Trust God with it this time. You've been trying to rely on your own understanding and your own force and what you can do and what you can make happen. That you probably don't even think that God is in the creative process, or God is in you booking the events, or God is in your writing process, or in your rehearsals when you dancing, or in a room when you by yourself and you are painting. Listen, God is with the creative more than he is with anybody, because the creative is made in the image of the creator. You are more like God than anybody probably walking this universe if you follow your creativity in any way. God was with you all the times where you was distracted in class, writing down something, drawing something. God was with you then, and he helped you get through school, right? Listen, you would think that you can't make something happen, and you dang on right. You can't make it happen. For you, it's spiritual. It's not a creative block when you deal with creative blocks or writer's block. It's spiritual block. See, this year is about fulfilling your dream. Your art is not separate from you. Your music is not separate from you. Your beats are not separate from you. They are extensions of yourself. So God can take you higher in your process. God can cause you to go deeper as an artist. You can make sounds that nobody else came up with. You can bring in sounds to this universe that nobody has ever came up with. You can, if you stay in tune with source. So this video is about surrendering your creative control back to God, because it don't work when it's just us. We get disappointed. The video flop, right? People don't get it. We walk away from it too early. We believe in it too late. It ain't never too late. You'll look up and see somebody else done it. You know what I mean? But it ain't never too late. Amen. Because your dream is who you are. That's who you came to this planet to be. You didn't come to this planet to be the person that just works at Kroger and they just so happen to be able to write, and they just so happen to be able to make poetry. It just so happened that they can sing. All good things come from God. In the artistic industry, you don't really see God unless you're doing gospel music for show, right? But it's all about money. It's all about accolades. It's all about likes. It's all about subscriptions. It's all about followers. It's all about numbers. But with God, it's all about purpose. With God, it's all about impact. It'll be the person you least expect. You look up and there they go. They don't got all the flashy clothes. They don't got all the jewelry. They not with all the friends. Let me get back to this. You watching this video, you an artist. Nobody knows isolation like the artist knows isolation. Where is God the loudest at? It's no coincidence that you're so creative when you by yourself. You have to be by yourself to bring in new things into this world, right? It ain't for everybody's eyes to see. And it's not for anybody to just distract, right? You can't be distracted. And so you have sacrificed a lot of your personal time to spend it with God. I know you don't even know you were spending it with God, right? But when you was trusting in God for you to learn that skill, you wasn't just learning that skill, you was trusting in God. How can you not think that's spiritual? How can you not think just being in the zone is not a spiritual thing? Your art is not a spiritual thing, but all of your favorite artists are spiritual, right? Even the movie Soul, that was a spiritual movie, right? The person that guided Soul back to his soul was a spiritual guy, right? He was a crazy man in the movie. Prince is spiritual. Michael Jackson was spiritual. Whitney Houston was spiritual. And the ones that's not spiritual, wasn't spiritual, I mean, it's showing, right? They get so consumed by the world. You got to give your creative control back to God and trust that he will guide you into the rooms that you're supposed to be in, to the audience that you're supposed to have. He did it for me. He did it for me. He did it for me on so many different platforms, doing so many different things. He will do it for you. He may have already done it for you, right? So never despise small beginnings. So if it's just 5 people watching your video, yeah, it's going to turn to 5,000. Creativity isn't just a skill set. It's a communion. It's a dialogue to the one who created you. Everything that you make is a praise to God, right? Even if you probably not all that spiritual, but this you here. And so in order to be creative, you have to trust in this force, right? You have to trust in God's healing. You have to trust God, period. See, when it comes from God, it comes from authenticity. It comes from an authentic place. That's how you can tell when people be tapped in, spiritually, because they not out here trying to copy everybody. They really trust in God. When you don't trust in God, you start trusting everybody else around you, right? What they doing, what they got. People will trust them. They'll start copying you, right? If you dealt with copycats, let me know if you dealt with copycats in the bottom. But they'll start trusting people more than they start trusting God. They'll start believing that it was people that's doing it, right? Oh, this person got this many followers because they can do this. They got this much money because they can do that. No, it be the God in them. So creating is your direct source to God. So when you are not creating, it's no wonder that you are feeling drained and exhausted and like You just feel so disconnected from everything and everybody because you're literally not answering a call, right? Answering a call can be simple. It ain't going to go fly out to California. Sometimes it's sitting down and dealing with your procrastination and deal with your pain and deal with why you're so impatient with yourself and deal with why you just been full of doubt lately, like it's been creeping in, or why you can't finish nothing, why you can't follow through with nothing. Where is that coming from? Sometimes it's something that somebody said in your childhood. Sometimes it's what people have said when you went out into the world to pursue your goals and your dreams in your 20s. It could have been something they planted a seed, but let me tell you, when you are gifted, when you are anointed for this, especially when you are an artist and you are a sensitive person, you are a highly sensitive person. If you are an artist, you have to be sensitive because you have to sense things that aren't there. You have to be in tune with your senses, right? Touch, hearing, smell, words, what you see, right? So the artist is very highly sensitive. So sometimes the enemy is seeing somebody to instill doubt in you, to instill rejection, to instill delay with trying to tap on your belief system or making you feel like they have you looking at everybody like, you right, well, nobody over there look like me, so why I think I got a chance, right? The enemy is tricky. We are only spiritual having a human experience. So sometimes, like, don't beat yourself up because it's your first time being human at the end of the day. But like, of course that's gonna happen to you because you're so gifted. Like, the enemy don't want certain people on certain platforms because of the impact that they're gonna have, because of the changes that they are going to make. God got a plan, so does the enemy. But the thing about the enemies is that it never works, and the thing about God's plan, it always comes into fruition. But it's time for your vision to be restored. Your vision is amazing. You've been having this dream for your life since you was a child. Why wouldn't God want that for you? Why would you think that it can't happen for you? I know you don't think that because you've been showing up, but I'm just saying it be that little thoughts. I'm talking to the quiet thoughts in the back of the mind, right? I'm not talking to the doer in you because I know you be doing it, but sometimes you can get discouraged. It's time for your dream to be restored. This is the dream. This is the year for you to make your dream happen, for you to do it. You already know that nobody else can do it for you. When you start walking in your calling, people gonna start walking with you, but you can't walk up to nobody and say, help me make this. It don't happen like that for you. Remember Forrest Gump was running, and then people start running with him. But imagine if he went up to somebody and said, I want to run across America, because Jenny walked out the door. Nobody probably would have ran and just got the vision, but once they saw what he was doing and how harmless he was doing it, he was an inspiration to so many people, and that's you. We love Forrest. You've been walking by faith more than you give yourself credit for. You practicing, you watching the tutorials, you making a video, you posting a picture. Maybe you're not as consistent, but you doing it. You've been living by faith. It's no such thing as consistency when it's God's plan. God's plan is not to tire you out and wear you out. That's capitalism. That's not having faith if you consistent every day, like you trying to force it, you trying to rush it, you trying to rush the process. You are not in control. It's gonna happen when it happens for you, right? But we do have seasons of just high frequency and just being so inspired. But I just want you to know, like, what the world sees as consistency is not what God sees as consistency. God honors you in your life and where you are. If you work every day, 7 days a week, you're not gonna be denied your dream because you ain't grow up rich, right? So don't think your dream is far-fetched. This year is about radical dreaming, right? Why shouldn't it happen for you? Look at all of these wicked people, right? These bad people, these mean people that's famous, that's infamous for things, and you don't harm nobody. Your dream is to help people and to lift people up and to heal people and to heal yourself. It's about you, number one. It's about healing yourself. So why wouldn't you be able to make it? If you can see wicked people that can go for stuff and believe in themselves, why wouldn't you believe in yourself? Come on now. If they can be bold and have the audacity, where yours at? Stop hiding. See, here's the thing. When you are stepping into creativity, when you are walking in your calling, right, or you thinking about it, right, it can just be a thought, and you can just see the fruits of what it can bring you. It can bring you the cars, it can bring you the clothes, it can bring you the mansions, it can bring you the guys, it can bring you the girls, it can bring you happiness, right? That's what we think. And then you've been doing it for some time, and none of these things have materialized in your life, right? None of these things are palpable. Sometimes we can feel like, dang, the dream too far-fetched, right? You ain't got the celebrity network, right? It can happen for you. You will not be able to tap into your highest vision without digging into your soul. You will not be able to tap into your highest vision without digging into what's in your soul. Your story and what you've been through, that gives you an advantage, bro, sis. That gives you an advantage. Nobody here sounds the way you do, right? Nobody got that pain in their voice the way you got it. Nobody got that rasp in their voice the way you got it. Nobody got that sweetness in their voice the way that you got it. Because of how you had to talk to yourself, right? And get yourself through stuff. You had to talk sweet to yourself. You had to talk nice. So now when you talk to yourself, it's what people feel when they hear your voice. It's what people feel when they hear the sounds. that you come up with on your beat machine or from your music software. It's the colors that you pick when you're painting. It's the colors that you choose. People be like, how did you put that together? Like, I would have never thought of that. That's because they ain't have the experiences that you got. Really, I just want you to know that it's okay to take a step back and really get intimate with yourself and just get real about the rejection that somebody may have tried to make you feel, or trying to treat you like you was invisible, or like you was crazy for dreaming, or like ain't nobody from this family that you come from made it, so why you? Something wrong with you? Go to school. Something wrong with you? Go get a job. It's taking so long. Don't you think you should try something not different now? Listen. So it's time for you to like see how those things affected you, dig in your soul. But also when you working on your stuff, really working on it from a perspective of knowing that you doing something different. You an innovator. You a pioneer. You bring something new to the world because you want to push the world forward, right? Whoever hear your stuff, they look at the world different. They don't gotta take a drug to have a different perspective, because yours is so enriched and you share it so clearly, and the passion is just so there. Like you just draw people in. You may have dealt with people withholding their support from you in hopes that you gave up. It's a real thing. People will withhold support. People will withhold encouragement because they see you doing something that they don't got the courage to do, right? But God's intention is always restoration, restoring what was lost, right? But sometimes we let some things go. Sometimes we can still be making the art, but we don't make it with as much passion or with as much enthusiasm or with as much joy, because we can just get into the robotic way of doing it. But I just want you to know that every time you're doing it, you really sending a message to this whole universe that you are here, that you are alive and well, that you are a lover, that you are a believer. You believe in God, right? You believe in good. You believe that people can be healed. You believe that the consciousness of the collective of people can be raised. And you ain't got to try to change the whole world, but it's the part of the world that only you can change, right? But God will breathe life into what feels stale, what feels forgotten, what feels left behind and abandoned, because he did it for you. Because he did it for you. Right? How many times have you just got up when you just felt like you ain't have no more energy? Maybe you've been depressed before. Maybe you've been so stressed out. Maybe you lost everything before. And somehow you got up to smile. So listen, allow God in the process. That's what I'm saying.